crunchy on the top, gooey in the middle. It's like eating heaven. Nicola here from the Coal Miner's Cottage. Thanks for popping into my kitchen and watching me cook on my 1920s metal stove. Today I am cooking chocolate brownies, but I'm not just cooking them straight from the recipe. I have decided to add crystallized ginger. I did go looking for freeze-dried raspberries. I couldn't find them. So I thought, well, what would the alternative be? And I actually really like ginger in food. I've just cut them up into they're sticky, into little cubes. So when I've made the mixture, I'm just going to sprinkle them on the top and pop them in with a fork. So I have made this recipe in the Meadows. I took it away last weekend and everybody loved it. So I'm really excited to be making it and doing a video while I cook it. So let's get started. The recipe calls for the oven to be a moderate oven, at 180. I've had the fire going all day. It's probably been on for a couple of hours because it's a bit cold here today. I've got a few bits of jarrah I've just popped in there, and I will just check the temperature of the oven before we start so that I know where we're at before I start assembling the cake. The temperature is about 175. I think I probably need to arc the fire up a little bit more because that's not going to be hot enough to cook the brownies. It needs to be 180, and by the time I make everything, the fire will die down, and from experience I know that I'm going to have to mess around with the fire and I don't want to have to do that. So what I'm going to do is just put some extra, I'll just put some extra logs on now. These quite chunky bits, I'm just going to put them over the top of that. I might do 3 pieces. That's 3 pieces of jarrah. The slow and low, oops, the low, get your words right, the low and slow burning wood. I need to push that down because that is smoking up. Let's push that up. That's got it. All right, I can already hear that started to draw some air in. So I will get onto the cook and we'll come back and have a look at the temperature as just in another 10 minutes maybe. The recipe calls for a double broiler. So I've got some water in this pot that I'm going to put on the stove, and I'm going to put this inside to melt the butter, the chocolate, not the sugar, no, just the butter and the chocolate. But I'm using this because once that's melted, you let that cool down and then all of the ingredients go in, and I'll just use this to do that. Okay, so I'll get that on the stove now. Okay, now for the ingredients. We need 190 grams of butter. Doesn't necessarily have to be softened because we're melting it on the stove. I just cubed it to make it look pretty. 4 eggs, so that I'll beat them before I put them into the mixture. We've got a lot of sugar, 500 grams of sugar. But what I will say, this recipe, what I've done is I added another half because I wanted to be able to make a lot, and it called for, what was this? I think it was a 20 by 20 tin, 20 centimetres by 20 centimetres, but my tin is a little bit bigger than that, so I've added half again, if you know what I mean. Hope you got that. Okay, so then we've got 175 grams of plain flour. I will sift that. And 45 grams of cocoa powder. Then we have 190 grams of chopped It's supposed to be dark chocolate, but I ran out of that and I only had milk, so that's what I'm just going to have to use. And 2 teaspoons of vanilla. This is my homemade vanilla. And then I've got the crystallized ginger, which I was just talking about earlier. The method: melt the butter and the chocolate on a double water bath, which is on the stove now, and then literally add all the ingredients and stir quickly. Pour into a square lined tin and bake for 30 minutes at 180. So I've got this tin, I've already lined it. This is typical Nicola, it's secondhand baking paper, but that's okay. It's just, I'd already made one yesterday. I'm going away for the weekend, so I made one yesterday. And then Lynn said, could you make me one? I went, okay, I'll make you one. I'll just do a video. So I'm just using the paper from yesterday's cook. Now, let's have a look at what my notes said because, all right, this is what it says. I cooked this for 35 minutes, removed it from the tin. I turned it over and cooked the bottom again for another 10 minutes. And then it says, note, that did the trick. It was still very wet on the bottom. And then I said, these were delicious. Next time, put the sugar in the butter and chocolate to melt it. Now, when I made it last night, I did try that and it didn't really make any difference. I'm not even going to waste my time doing that. So I will, we'll get started on getting all of the ingredients ready to put into the double broiler. I've got the double broiler ready to start adding the ingredients. I'll show you that in a sec. It didn't take very long when I did this before, so I'm assuming it might take about 5 minutes for everything to melt, but I'll just keep stirring it with a fork. Okay, so in goes the butter and now the chocolate. Well, that's already started to melt. While the butter and the chocolate is melting, so let me have a quick look. Oh, I think I need to just keep stirring it, otherwise it's not going to work. I was going to say, well, I would sift the flour and get all that ready, but I want to keep stirring this. Otherwise it's going to stick or burn or not work. I just wanted to acknowledge all the people that have come up to me and said that they've been watching the channel. It just makes it worthwhile because so much, I don't think anybody would realise how much work goes into making these videos. The filming is the easy part, like getting on the camera and doing this is the easy part. Then I've got to put it all onto the editor and then go through and edit the video to make it into a 20 to 30 minute cook. So there's hours of work that goes into this. You pay me in your time by watching my videos, which I really, really do appreciate. Okay, now, seriously hot on my leg. That is cooked and I just need to get my tea towel. Chocolate has all, and the butter has all melted. So I just need to let that cool a little bit and I'll put that aside. And while I'm waiting for that to cool, actually the bottom is hot, I'll sift all my flour. So I've got the flour and the cocoa powder that needs to be sifted. Okay, so in goes the plain flour and the cocoa powder. So while I'm sifting this, I just was going to I just wanted to talk about the off season because obviously, oh, better take that off. So it's still hot, no. Sorry. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about the off-season because we're now coming into spring and I'm not going to be able to keep the fire going through the summer. It just gets too hot here. So I have been trying to get some extra videos done in the meantime, but, you know, I still do work and have other things that I need to do. But I was wondering whether during the summer, I could, if I shared some of the chores that I've got to get done around the house for the renovations that we've been doing. So I've still got a lot of things to do. Like one of the things I want to do is this bench needs to be resealed with some tung oil, and that's going to be quite a process. I need to redo my floor because I've hammered it. I love my floor, but I have hammered it. Yeah, so I was just thinking maybe I could do some chores around the house and put them on onto the video. It is the coal miner's cottage, and we do live here, and there is a lot of stuff that has to be done. So I thought that might be a great idea. Okay, I've digressed again, gabbling, carrying on. I want to get some gardening done as well. Not quite sure, yeah, what I want to do in the garden. It's a big block. There's a lot. There is actually a lot to do. All right, now, what do I need to do? Put the sugar in. Virtually just says, oh, no. Before I do that, I'm going to crack the eggs. This is what happens when you start talking, Nicola. You lose your way. 4 eggs. They were wet because they needed to be room temperature, and I forgot to take them out of the fridge. So I put them in some hot water. Okay, now in goes the sugar. Stir that in. Okay, and a bit of the flour. So I'm going to put in a bit of the egg. The instructions did call just to throw everything in, but I think this is a bit easier doing it this way. Let's do a bit more of the flour. Or I might just go all of it. These brownies, the ones that I made last weekend to take away, were so yummy and chewy and delicious. And then the ones I made last night with the ginger in them, whoo, they were good too. Okay, so now I'm going to put the 2 cups of... So now I'm going to get a spoon because I'm pretty much ready to put that in the tin and get it in the oven. How's it? Oh, yep, we got a good bit of wood in there. That's pretty cool. It's hot. I was on one of the Meadows stoves or wood stove Facebook pages this morning, and a guy was on there complaining that the top of his stove was had all smoke coming up out of it. Like, I'll show you what I mean. So as soon as you open it, see the smoke? See how it starts smoking? I was like, and it was a bigger one, and he had this open, and I was like, close the front of the stove and it all stopped smoking. But, you know, I suppose when you just knew, I didn't know that. I figured that out for myself. So, yeah, when you knew, you don't know these things. Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to tell you. One of my friends, Rachel, she was telling me about her, when she was growing up, her mum had a Rayburn fireplace, a Rayburn cooker. I'm sorry, Rachel, if I've said that wrong, because now that I'm going to start telling the story, my brain has gone. But anyway, she was saying that, oh, I love watching your show, Nicola, because it reminds me of when I grew up as a kid. And she was telling me that her dad built a cabinet, or she called it a pantry, next to the stove, and her mum would put all their school clothes or all their clothes in for the day to keep them dry and warm. I think I've got a feeling she grew up in Dorset. I'm sorry if I've got that wrong, but I think I saw that on Facebook that she grew up in Dorset, but it was in England somewhere, so you know that it's going to be pretty cold all the time. Yeah, so I thought that was a lovely story, and her mum used to do all the cooking on this Rayburn cooker. So yeah, it's really, I love it. I just love it. People come up and start telling me these amazing stories all the time. And I can't wait for my channel to grow. So yeah, that's why I'm asking. If you share it, then it grows and I can keep these stories alive, because every time somebody tells me a story, I am determined to share it here on this channel. Okay, right, let's get this into the pan. So what I'm going to do is just tip this in. I just had a quick look around the bench to make sure I'd put everything into the mixture, because for some reason my brain is not working today. Today I am heading up to Lancelin to visit my sister. So I'm taking this with me, and this video will probably come out not for another couple of weeks, but I made her a German, a German beer cake, but it's in honour of my nephew who passed away 2 years ago, and I've done a video on making the cake, but I wanted to make this as well. Okay, now I'm ready to, what I'm going to do now is put the ginger on. All right, and I'm literally just going to sprinkle these over the top, because I want these to, I don't want them to sink to the bottom. I just want to be able to get them nicely distributed. That looks good. Oh, the heat coming off the fire today is good. All right, so now I'm just going to push them in, because they'll probably melt in a bit. Although the ones I did yesterday, I mixed it in with the mixture. I didn't do it this way, so this is a bit of an experiment. I've started sweating, that's how hot I am. Yes, that's what I was going to say. I'm going up to my sister's, and she is doing a blue tree in honour of her son Novak. So that should be a very touching weekend for her and her friends. She's got a few people coming. Okay, they're all pushed in. I'll just pick that up and show you how it looks. Don't want to. Okay, so I pushed all them in, and now I'm going to put that in the oven. I feel as though I need something to stick that down, because it doesn't want to stay there. Okay, so I've just got my gun, because I'm going to test the very hot. Should I put it in or not? It only needs 30 minutes, but let's just do it. No, I'm going to wait half an hour and let the fire dampen down, because I know it's going to burn. I don't know how that's going to affect the cake mixture, but I'm just going to leave it, because I'd rather it cool down than burn it. Okay, I'll be back. Not sure if you can hear that. It's tickering. I've opened up the flue, and hopefully some of that heat will go up through there. The thermometer is, that's hot. The thermometer is now at 180, which is the temperature that we want, but it's this heat coming up the top there that I'm worried about, because that'll just burn the top easy. And it's hot on my leg. So I am going to give it 10 minutes to cool down. I'll leave the oven open, and then I'll get the cake in. In the meantime, I might as well clean up the mess, because there's mess everywhere, as always. And I will come back in, I'll get the mess cleaned up, come back in 10 minutes, and we'll put this cake in. Okay. I have mess all over there because I'm going away and I've been stockpiling all my stuff. Okay, I have just seen the temperature of the oven and it has dropped right down to under 100. Yep, I'm going to put that cake in. Where is it? Okay. All right. Oh, we'll give that, I'm only going to give it 10 minutes because I want to keep an eye on it in case the top of that stove, the fire bed is too hot. So we'll come back in 10 minutes. So in the video that I did on it's called feral beer cake, which I did for my nephew. When I showed it to my sister, I got her to approve it first because I thought it was only fair that she got to see it before I went and put it up onto the internet for the world to see. She was blown away by the kookaburras. And I'd forgotten about it. She said, "Oh, how were the kookaburras?" And so during that video, I had a bird going berserk over this side of the house. And then when I went to put the cake on the windowsill, I opened the window and this kookaburra was just going nuts. So she's always had this thing about the birds and being her son Novak looking over us all. So that was lovely. The brownies have been in for 30 minutes. I did check them at 15 and I just got so involved in tidying up. So the fire did end up dying right down and I opened that up because when I checked them at about the 20-minute mark, it had started to burn a little bit on the top. It's cooked. Check it out. I'm very happy with that. Now that just needs to cool down. It's still very gooey-ish. When you actually cook the brownies, they don't, see, it's come out clean. They don't cook all the way through like a cake. You've got to let it cool down and it settles into itself, if you know what I mean. And that's what makes the chewiness inside, that nice chewy gumminess. So, yes, how's that? I'm pretty happy. So I'll get that on the windowsill and then we'll taste it. While it's cooling, I'm going to sprinkle some icing sugar on it. So what do you think of that? I couldn't be happier because I cooked it last night and it turned out good, and I cooked it today and it turned out good. Very happy with that. Check these out. Don't they look beautiful? You can see the little chunks of, let me just get the video, little chunks of ginger. Shall we try one? Let's try one. Yep, this one's got a nice big chunky piece of ginger. Can you see it? I'm going to try that. And look how deliciously, oh, look at that. It's like, it's gooey and it's really crunchy on the top. Sorry for playing with my food. But yep. Yum. Crunchy on the top, gooey in the middle. It's like eating heaven. The ginger's good. Yummy. That is amazing. I can't wait to take these away with me for the weekend and share them with my family. Anyway, thank you. Thank you for popping into my kitchen today and watching me make these beautiful brownies. Thank you, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.